A very good day to you, our viewer, and welcome to Elgon Kenya's series of web-based learning. Today, we will focus on animals, and specifically, we will be handling tick control and the importance. Elgon Kenya is the giant one-stop shop agricultural inputs and services company. Among others, Elgon Kenya offers fertilizers to our farmers, irrigation solutions, agrochemicals, packaging technology, greenhouse sheetings, and animal health solutions. At Elgon Kenya, we embrace the philosophy of transforming farms and lives through technology. We link farming, science, and technology. As I mentioned, today we shall be speaking about the importance of tick control with an emphasis to dairy farming. To take us through will be our resident vet, Dr. Belinda Koech, who will be asking questions that are frequently asked by farmers. And to respond to the questions will be our technical expert, James Aura. So Dr. Koech will start us off.
Thank you, Doc. So I'll just jump right in. James, these are some of the questions that we frequently get at the Information Center. The first one is, what is the economic importance of ticks to a dairy farm?
Thank you very much, Dr. Ari, for that query. Economic importance of ticks to a dairy farmer. A dairy farmer in Kenya today should be a very worried person by allowing ticks to invest the animals on their farm. Because ticks have potential of making you incur huge losses, financial losses as such. The losses are in two categories. One, direct losses, and two, indirect losses. Zeroing into direct losses, ticks, as they are known to be vectors of disease, they have potential of transmitting infection to your animals. And these infections, which are called tick-borne diseases, will result into high costs of treatment. Because once your animal is infected, you have to go through the nitty-gritty of treatment, which will include a cost of drugs and cost of veterinary services by the professional vet to come and help you sort the disease on your animal. Other than the cost of treatment, at that point, you could either have your animal recover and therefore get now to realize that this animal, because of the effect of the disease, has lost production. If you're talking about a dairy cow in your unit, a dairy cow that produces to the tune of 30 liters per day, if it is infected by a serious tick-borne disease like East Coast fever, shortly known as ECF, would lose production to a tune of about 70%. 70% of 30 liters, you are talking about a remainder of 9 to 10 liters per day. So you've lost a whopping 20 liters. And the recovery period of that production as a result of this infection would take you a month or two. So a month, for instance, of 30 days, losing 20 liters, you are talking about 600 liters of milk. That is a loss that is huge to a dairy farmer, because in essence, this animal is purposely here to produce milk. The other losses that you will also incur, for instance, the quality of hides and skin. Eventually, when you want to sell it, you realize it may not fetch as much. This animal, if it was in calf, then ECF, for instance, which is East Coast fever, would cause this animal to abort the calf that it was carrying. That calf could have been a heifer that you could groom to give you either sell as an income favor, so you lose that money that you would have gotten as when you sell it, or you could have used it as the replacement stock on your farm when then you cull this adult cow that you are milking today. So the loss is huge. There are other direct losses, like now this animal does not recover from the disease, so therefore it dies. You bought the animal. A good heifer in Kenyan market today would be like 200,000 shillings. So you lose the 200,000 input. You lose the amount of time and feeds that you have given this animal while you are having it, expecting that you'll get a return for milk. That's another loss. You lose the potential production that this animal will be given you maybe for 4, 5, 6 calvings. So all that put together is a huge loss to a dairy farmer that you cannot sit back and allow ticks to invest your farm and use your animals as hosts and introduce you to these losses.
Okay. You mentioned disease as one of the economic importance.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about some of the diseases?
Yeah, there are diseases that are transmitted by ticks are so many. But the ones of most economic importance to a dairy farmer are largely 3. And the most important one would be East Coast fever. East Coast fever is abbreviated as ECF. In some local language, it's called GAE. It is transmitted by the brown ear tick. The second of importance would be anaplasmosis. This is also locally called ndigana. Ndigana is transmitted by the colored tick, otherwise called the red-legged tick, and sometimes the blue tick. Thirdly would be babesia. The common name for babesia is red water, simply because one of the main symptoms of this disease is the animals will urinate blood, such the name red water, transmitted by the blue tick. Yes.
The blue tick, to chip in, the blue tick is also called the dog tick. It is commonly known by farmers out there as the dog tick. That blue fat tick.
Yes.
What are some of the common methods that you can use to prevent and control ticks in dairy?
Prevention and control. Let's look at largely control of ticks in dairy cattle. The dairy farmers are grappling with this aspect, and I would be glad to advise that there are several methods you can use to control ticks, but majority are not effective in this time and age because of the tick pressure in Kenya today. Now, the most common and largely effective is chemical control. Yes, where you use chemicals that are manufactured largely to kill the ticks on animals.
You mentioned chemical control.
Yes.
Do you have any product like that at Elgon Kenya?
Yes, Elgon Kenya, we have a chemical solution to tick control. And our chemical solution is this product here. This is Vectoclo Plus. This is an acaricide formulated specifically to eliminate ectoparasites from our herd. This product, Vectoclo Plus, will eliminate not only ticks, but it will go a step further to eliminate its associates, the fleas, mites, lice, and flies.
Okay. So James, tell me more about this Vectoclo Plus.
Maybe before he goes into details of Vectoclo Plus, yes, I would like to mention that this is a blockbuster product. It's a brand new product in this market. It was only launched mid last year. And for the short time that the product has been here, the results are amazing. The product is manufactured by one of the top 10 global pharmaceutical giants called Siva. Siva is a French company, and they are the manufacturers of Vectoclop Plus.
Yes. So as the has mentioned, this product is from Siva. We are the local and undisputed distributors for this product in Kenya. It is a combination product, very broad, actually the broadest you can ever find in ectoparasite control.
So are you saying Vectoclop is like any other products on the shelves? Farmers can just go and pick.
Wow, actually, you can't even afford to think like that. Vectoclop Plus is like no other thing you have had or touched in the acaricide market. This is a unique 4-molecule product. Vectoclop Plus contains 4 molecules, one being cypermethrin. Cypermethrin is a molecule that has been around in the tick control. It is broad spectrum in its own right. It will manage ticks, it will manage fleas, lice, and even flies. It also contains chloropyrifos, a second molecule that is also broad spectrum in the management of ticks, fleas, lice, and flies, and including mites that cause mange. Now, the 2 molecules put together have a huge potential in the elimination of ectoparasites. We have gone a step further to add 2 more new molecules that are not in this market. The 2 new molecules have a role. One, the piperonal butoxide, which is the 3rd molecule, will put as a role to potentiate the 2 first acaricide molecules, the cypermethrin and chloropyrifos. When I say potentiating, I mean it will boost the action and the efficacy of the 2 so that they perform better than they could have otherwise performed on their own. The second role for this piperonal butoxide is it acts as a sticker. Being an organic essential oil, it acts as a sticker, allowing the product to stay on the animal's coat longer for better efficacy. The third role for piperonal butoxide is it helps manage resistance. Normally, ticks produce enzymes that resist chemicals, and especially cypermethrin. For farmers who have used cypermethrin alone for some time, they realize 6 months down the line, it's no longer having the effect on the ticks that they desire to have, especially for the ticks that spend a long time on one animal, the one host tick, because of the frequent exposure to the same molecule. They develop resistance. This product, the ticks will not have a chance to develop resistance to this because of the piperonal butoxide, which inhibit that enzyme. It also has a 4th molecule called citronella. Now, this is a wonder molecule added to this product, which is a repellent. This is an insect repellent. All these ectoparasites we are talking about fall in that class of insects. So other than spraying the animal and killing them on site, those that fly away like flies, for instance, then they have no chance of coming back to that animal. If they cannot land on the animal, they cannot bite and they cannot transmit an infection. Allow me to emphasize on this fly issue. Farmers are grappling with how to sort flies on their farms. Dairy farms have a huge challenge with biting flies. These ones will come in when you are doing your milking and they bite your cow, and the cow then is uneasy, it kicks. Sometimes it even kicks the bucket, the milking bucket, and the farmer loses milk that he had really just gotten from the cow. We also have these nuisance flies. You'll always find them on your cow around the eyes, around the nostrils, they're just a nuisance. making the animal uncomfortable. Instead of concentrating on feeding and therefore giving production, it spends a lot of time trying to ward them off. So the use of vector chloroplast on your dairy farm and environment, you will manage flies from your animal, you will keep your herd clean. For those farmers in semi-arid areas and those doing beef animals or free range, they have challenges with tsetse flies, especially in those tsetse fly prone areas. These are ectoparasites that cause infection. Tsetse flies will cause trypanosomiasis, a very deadly disease to pastoralists, for instance, because of the high mortality rate it causes to the herd. By use of vector chloroplast, you will keep away the tsetse flies from coming to your animal for a period of 1 week. So you are sure you sprayed this week, your animals are safe until when you're spraying again. Yes.
Wow.
So that combination put together, it is the broadest spectrum acaricide you can find in the Kenyan market today to sort the parasites.
Amazing. This is indeed a wonder product.
Yes.
So tell us, how is vector used?
Vector is a stock spray. You use it largely either by using hand spray, the knapsack sprayers, or by bucket sprayers. So you need to take your dose, like this one is 25 mils. We are packing them in different packs to enable you be able to measure and use it adequately. 25 mils is enough for 20 liters. So this you need to put in a 20-liter container. And because, as I mentioned earlier, it is oil-based, you need to apply it in the container first and then introduce water. That way, you help mixing the chemical and the water more easily. Remember, oil does not mix in water that easily. So when you put this on top of water, then it will float. So if you just go straight on to spraying, then you spray largely water for the first few animals and then a concentrated form of vector chloroplast to the remaining maybe 1 or 2 last animals, which is not adequate to control ticks when you do not do proper solution. So we have them in 25 mils, 50 mils, this is for 2 pumps, 100 mils for 4 pumps, this one here, and then 1 liter for the large scale farmers. Yeah.
So you mentioned spraying. Is there a specific way to spray an animal?
Yes, there is a specific protocol of spraying an animal. And this is because we need to understand why are we spraying the animal. We want to eliminate the ticks and the fleas and the flies. So we also may need to understand where on the animal does these ticks want to take refuge, right?
Yes.
Once we understand where they are, then it gives in the adequate process of spraying. So ticks are like staying in warm areas. They like staying in warm areas where they are protected from bad weather, protected from predators like birds. And in those warm areas, the way those areas are warm is because there is a high supply of blood in those areas. The main purpose why the ticks are on a cow is to access blood. So they want to be an area that is well supplied with blood, which are the soft areas of the cow, areas around the udder, areas around the brisket. The brisket is somewhere between the forelimbs. Yeah, areas around the ears, because there it is soft and protected. Areas around the swish, the tail swish and tail brush, areas around the hooves. Those are the key areas where you want to zero in when you're doing your spray. But largely, the spraying procedure, you need to start from the hindquarters. When an animal is in a crash facing this way, you start from the rear, going towards the front. You do not start from the front or in between the animal. The basic reason for not starting from the front is when you attack the animal from the front, it will become uneasy. It may not give you adequate time for you to and space to spray it properly. So when you begin from the front, by the time you're reaching the head, it will have been stable enough for you to do what you need to do properly. Starting from the feet, going up, the udder, and then the under the belly towards the front feet, and then you go up the abdomen and the sides. Remember, the fur of your animal starts from the middle of the back, moving downwards along the sides, coming down to the feet and towards the back and slightly towards the front. So your main aim of when you're spraying is to introduce the product solution below the fur. So you need to spray in an upward manner so that you raise the fur and let the chemical access the skin, right? So as you move towards then the back, you go to the tail swish. Remember to access the under the tail swish and the tail brush because ticks hide in there. Then quickly come to the forefeet. Forelimbs come up to the shoulders, areas around the dewlap. The dewlap is the skin hanging below the neck, and then cover the neck and go to finally the head with a keen interest on the ears that as the final site of spray. Yeah. As you go, as I mentioned, you go back to the tail brush and you quickly come to the front. It's because the animal may have a tendency to wag the tail. So as you finish with the tail brush, come to the front so that if it wags, it does not spray the chemical on you. Yeah.
A small bit I would like to reiterate is when you mix Vectaclo 25 ml in 20 liters of water, that James said is enough for 4 animals, meaning we are using 5 liters per animal. That bit is critical because some farmers use less. There's a tendency to want to use like 2 liters on an animal. Now, 2 liters is not enough for a human being to take a shower. So 2 liters cannot be enough for an animal with hairs to completely wet the animal. So it is important that every 5 liters is used for every animal.
Thank you for the clarification. What is the right time to spray an animal?
That's a very common question that farmers tend to pose. And it's because farmers spray, some of them spray animals anyhow. I would want to advise that animals should be sprayed early in the morning.
Early in the morning, that is very specific. Why would you say early in the morning? Are you saying the ticks are still sleeping?
It has to be early in the morning, not because the ticks are asleep. As a matter of fact, that's the time the ticks are busy. But I'm looking at the early morning before sunrise for very key reasons. One, the animals tend to open their spores, skin spores, when the temperatures are high. So if you are to spray your animal later in the day when the temperatures are high, chances are the chemical will seep through the spores into the animal and cause poisoning. We don't want that to happen. So spray early in the morning before sunrise when the temperatures are cool and the spores are closed. Two, this chemical needs to drip from the animal from site of spraying before they introduce to the pasture. So if you're going to spray soon before you do it to the pasture, then you are likely to contaminate the pasture on which they will feed or other animals will come and feed and get poisoned by the chemical. Thirdly is increase in temperatures would cause evaporation of the chemical from the animal's coat before it effectively clears the ticks. So we want to spray early in the morning when the temperatures are cool so that we allow it to effectively reach out to the chemical, to the ticks and effectively do its job before the animal dries up.
I believe James meant the pores, the skin pores, not spores.
Yeah, and pores.
Okay, early morning it is.
Yes.
So spraying protocol.
Yeah, the standard spraying protocol for acaricide and more so Vectoclo Plus is you spray every 7 days. Yes. Farmers that will get access to Vectoclo Plus, as we are advising, may have a chance to even spray, take a little longer interval than 7 days because of the ability of this product to repel, not just killing the ticks. Because you see, there are those ticks that are on the animal today. So when you spray, you kill them. But those that will want to come to the animal tomorrow, in the absence of a repulsive effect, like the one in Vectoclo, then they will get to the animal sooner. But then for Vectoclo Plus, you can even enjoy a 14-day spraying interval, and the animal will be still clean. Yes.
Nice. So that is where the ingredients come in.
Yes, that's where the role of the ingredients come in.
Okay.
Yes.
So most farmers would want to know, at what age should you start spraying?
Animals should be sprayed depending on the tick challenge or ectoparasite challenge on the farm. But we advise starting from 3 months after you wean your calves and you introduce them to the pasture. That's when they are likely to get exposure to ticks, and that's when you start covering them with acaricide to manage the ticks. Before then, they are mostly housed. So the prevalence of ectoparasites is limited. So they may not need.
Thank you so much, James. Now that we have heard so much about Vectoclo,
Yes.
are the products readily available, and where can farmers access?
Vectoclo Plus has been in this market, as I mentioned earlier, for going to a year now. And Elgon Kenya has a very good distribution network all over the counties and major towns in large agrovets who are helping us to redistribute the product to small agrovets in every market center. So as a farmer, access Vectoclo Plus at your nearest agrovet. Go in there, ask for Vectoclo Plus, and use it as we have advised, and the results will be overwhelming. We have success stories from all over the country, be it in Uasin Gishu, be it in central Kenya, be it in Narok County, where there is prevalence of ticks, resistant ticks, but Vectoclo Plus has been overwhelming and given the results that the farmers have really desired to experience. Yes.
Thank you. I believe also they can get it at our institution.
Farmers who are in Nairobi have a unique chance to visit our resource center. Elgon Kenya is located off Mombasa Road on East Gate Road, next to Labandalay. You can visit, you will interact with Dr. Belinda here, who sits in the resource center, for further direction and advice on how to eliminate the tick challenge on your herd, and you will get the products at an affordable price.
Thank you very much, lady and gentlemen, for that very elaborate discussion on an important topic of tick control in dairy farming. Viewer, you will agree with me that it was a very educative session, and it confirms that we at Elgon Kenya strongly embrace the philosophy of transforming farms and lives through technology. We are deliberately linking farming, science, and technology. Science as per this product that has a combination of 4 molecules nicely put together to complement one another to help mitigate the challenge of tick resistance that farmers encounter with most other acaricides available out there in the marketplace. So if you must forget anything from today's session, let that not be Vectoclo Plus. Keep this at the back of your mind now and always. Now, for any questions, direct them to James Aura on 0721 328 472. 0721 328 472, or Dr. Belinda on 0707 901 601. Look out for our next series, which is going to be on poultry. Very interesting subject, poultry production, coming up soon. Thank you very much. My name is John Muchibi, the country manager or animal health manager at Elgon, Kenya. Thank you very much.
Kwa afya bora ya ufugaji wako, zuia kupe kwa kutumia Vectaclar kutoka Elgon, Kenya, ambayo inaangamiza kupe 100%. Elgon, Kenya, transforming farms and lives through technology.